Something from another star system is crossing ours. It was not born here. It did not orbit our sun. For millions of years, it drifted through the dark between stars, frozen, silent, and untouched by any world we know. Then, it entered the solar system. Astronomers gave it a name, 3I/ATLS. That name sounds harmless, almost forgettable. But this object is only the third confirmed interstellar visitor ever detected. Before it, there was Oumuamua, the strange cigar-shaped object that made people argue about aliens. Then Borisov, the first clear interstellar comet. Now this one has arrived with something even more disturbing. Water. Not just water, a chemical fingerprint that may not match anything in our solar system. When NASA's Swift Observatory turned toward 3I/ATLS, it detected hydroxyl gas, a faint ultraviolet signature that points to water being released from the comet. And it was happening nearly 3 times farther from the sun than Earth is, in a region where most ordinary comets should still be quiet. The estimated water loss was about 40 kilograms every second. Imagine an object from another star system leaking the ingredient every living thing on Earth depends on while it is still far out in the cold. That alone would be enough for a headline. But then another discovery made the story darker. Researchers studying 3I/ATLS found signs of heavy water rich in deuterium, at levels reported to be far beyond what has been measured in comets from our own solar system. The claim is not that this object is alive. It is not that it was built. It is not that it is a spacecraft. The real mystery is stranger. If the measurements are right, 3I/ATLS may have formed in a place colder, quieter, and more alien than the nursery that made our own planets. And while scientists were studying this visitor, the sun did something else that caught attention across the internet. It produced a radio burst that refused to stop. Not for hours, not for a day, for 19 days.
Normally, solar radio bursts can last a few hours or several days. This one broke records. NASA missions including STEREO, Parker Solar Probe, Wind, and Solar Orbiter tracked the event across the inner solar system. Scientists traced it to a massive magnetic structure in the sun's atmosphere called a helmet streamer. They think a series of coronal mass ejections may have kept feeding the burst, like storms repeatedly striking the same invisible wire. That is the official explanation. And it matters because the radio waves themselves were not dangerous. They were harmless signals from a violent magnetic environment. But here is why the story exploded online. An interstellar object arrives, it carries unusual water, it wakes up far from the sun. Then, around the same era, our star produces a record-breaking radio event that lasts 19 days. Coincidence? Almost certainly yes. There is no verified evidence that 3I Atlas caused the solar burst. The best science points to the sun's own magnetic field and repeated coronal mass ejections. But the human brain hates coincidences, and space gives us the biggest coincidences in existence. So the real story is not that aliens sent a signal. The real story is that the universe can create a mystery so cinematic that our minds immediately search for a hidden intelligence behind it. To understand why 3I Atlas matters, you have to picture where it came from. Not from Mars, not from Jupiter, not from the icy edges of our own system. It came from somewhere else entirely. Some other star once had a disk of gas, dust, ice, rock, and newborn worlds spinning around it. Inside that disk, tiny grains collided. Ice coated dust. Dust became pebbles. Pebbles became mountain-sized bodies. Some became planets, others were thrown away. 3I Atlas may be one of those rejected worlds in miniature, a frozen fossil kicked out of its home system and sent into interstellar exile. For ages, it wandered through empty space. No sunrise, no seasons, no planet below it. Just radiation, darkness, and the faint gravity of distant stars bending its path. Then our sun caught it for one brief passage, not captured forever, just passing through.
That is what makes interstellar objects so valuable. We cannot fly to another solar system and scoop up its material. We cannot land on a planet orbiting another star, but once in a while, a piece of one comes to us. 3I Atlas is not just a comet. It is a sample from a place we may never reach. The heavy water result is the most haunting clue. Ordinary water uses normal hydrogen. Heavy water uses deuterium, a heavier form of hydrogen with an extra neutron. The ratio between them acts like a cosmic fingerprint. In simple terms, it tells scientists about the cold and radiation conditions where that water formed. And in this case, that fingerprint looks extreme. Reported findings say the deuterium ratio was about 30 times higher than what has been measured in comets from our solar system, and roughly 40 times higher than Earth's oceans. That does not mean the water is supernatural. It means its birthplace may have been radically different. A darker, colder system, a place with less radiation, maybe a star nursery unlike the one that made us. So when people ask, could this be alien water, the honest answer is this. Yes, in the literal sense, it is water from beyond our solar system. But if they mean alien life, alien engineering, or a hidden message, the evidence is not there. And that is exactly why this story works. The truth is already powerful enough. An object from another star came close enough for our machines to read its chemistry. It was leaking water where it should have been quiet. Its water may carry a signature stranger than anything in our own cosmic backyard. And at the same time, the sun was producing one of the longest radio bursts scientists had ever tracked. No spaceship is required for that to feel terrifying, because the deeper fear is not invasion. The deeper fear is that Earth is not special. Our water, our oceans, our chemistry, our beginnings may be only one version of a much bigger pattern. Somewhere in the dark, there may be millions of frozen bodies like 3I Atlas, carrying water from systems we will never see. Some may pass silently, some may wake up, some may bring clues, and some may remind us that the universe does not need to announce itself. Sometimes it just enters the solar system, leaks alien water into the dark, and leaves before we understand what we saw.
So the next time you hear the name 3IA Atlas, do not think of a boring catalog number. Think of a frozen messenger from another star. Think of water older than human history, older than Earth life, maybe older than the sun itself. Think of a visitor that crossed the silence between stars and gave scientists only a short window to decode it. Because if 3IA Atlas is telling us anything, it is this. The galaxy is not empty. It is moving. It is exchanging pieces of itself. And every once in a while, one of those pieces comes close enough for us to notice. The question is not whether this object is alien. It is. The question is what kind of alien story it carries, and whether we are smart enough to read it before it disappears.